red bleeding over Folly Beach. Shrimp boats rocking just out of reach. Marsh grass swaying like it knows my name. Same old river, but it ain't the same. Spanish moss in a live oak tree. She's barefoot dancing right next to me. Got a Dixie cup full of Tennessee gold and a story that her daddy told. We ain't in no hurry, baby, let it roll like the tide coming in on a Carolina soul. Here living on low country line, salt in the air and whiskey on ice. Girls that smile like a summer night under those Charleston lights. From the backwoods to stand on to a dock where the redfish run. Yeah, we don't need much to feel just right, just a little love and Saturday night. Palmetto moon in a shotgun sky, duck blind waiting as the birds fly by. Camouflage and a thermos cup, cold morning air gonna wake you up. Downtown King Street neon glow, she laughing loud at a country show. Got sand on boots from Sullivan Shore, says she ain't leaving, wants a little more. Every mile marker down Highway 17 feels like a memory wrapped in gasoline. We're living on low country line, salt in the air and whiskey on ice. Girls that shine like a harvest moon, singing every word out of tune. From the pine woods to the ocean side, we run these roads like a rising tide. Yeah, we don't need much to feel just right, just a little faith and a Friday night. Cypress knees and Carolina rain, football lights and a freight train. From Columbia down to Bilford town, you can feel that heartbeat in the ground. Raise it up for the old home state, for the ones we love and the ones we wait for. Every backward memory made in the life where the good Lord stay. We're living on low country lines, whiskey burning, sweet tea wine. Girls that love like a hurricane, but kiss you soft like summer rain. From the deer woods to the attic blue, there ain't no place like me and you. Yeah, we don't need much to feel just right, just South Carolina and a Saturday night.
Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
You're listening to the House of Cards on Facebook, YouTube at BigPatriotRadio.com. All licenses for music and content have been purchased by and are for the express use of the Big Patriot Radio networks. All information, opinions, and topics are for entertainment purposes and do not expressly represent the opinion of the hosts or producer. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. And good evening. Hey, everybody. Welcome in. It is another Thursday night, and we are here. It is June. What is it? It's the 18th already. June the 18th here on Big Patriot Radio and Beaufort County's House of Cards. We're coming to you live from the the Big Patriot Radio studios right here in the great state of South Carolina. Welcome to everyone watching this evening on Facebook, YouTube, and listening around the world on BigPatriotRadio.com. Thank you all for joining in. If you are on Facebook or YouTube, please go to the like, the share, the subscribe, all that stuff. Go ahead and hit those buttons. Share, especially share this stream with your friends and neighbors and those in your cohort, if you would. That really helps us out. And if you're on BigPatriotRadio.com, we appreciate you. Be sure to bookmark BigPatriotRadio.com. You can download the free app onto your phones, no charge. Nothing we do here we charge you for. And tonight's right here, the QR codes moved to the other side of the screen. If you want to help us out and support the show, click on this right here. This is a link right there to buymeacoffee.com. And you can go ahead, click on that QR code and buymeacoffee.com. That's how you can support the show. We greatly appreciate that. We do want, as always, want to seriously thank those folks who help us out and support the show. People like PB of Bluffton. Thank you for your support. Yahoozy 12, Any Mouse Star, In Pardo 523, and BG. Thank you for all of your support. Thank you to Gemini 8224, Bob and Chuck 180, Ford Guy 1994, Cad M17, and Peter Cottontail 26. Thank you for your support. And Cliff W53. Woo, that's a lot. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for all your support, for everything we do right here on Beaufort County's House of Cards and BigPatriotRadio.com.
You have an incoming transmission.
Drop the tailgate, y'all.
Your attention, please.
You're listening worldwide to DJ Magic Mike.
We're gonna have a good time
on BigPatriotRadio.com.
All right. The last time we were on was our election night show. And boy, did we need that time off to kind of gather thoughts and recover from that long evening. What a great evening that was. Really appreciate everybody tuning in. Biggest show ever, including all the subsequent views since that night. I want to thank the folks that helped put that on. Sounds Better Now, Uptown Auctions, reelect David Cad for Auditor.com, and Barry Ginn Realtor. Thank you to all those folks who helped put this on. We appreciate that, and everybody that tuned in. You know, changing lanes right quick. When I first read the information released regarding the proposed $42 million acquisition of the New River Forest tract, which is inside the Palmetto Bluff development, you know, I expected it to answer all of the public's questions, and knowing there would be a lot. Instead, it exposed several concerns. Now, before I continue, there has been several emails back and forth, including Tom Davis and then some other groups. So fortunately, I was able to get hands on some of that. But it did, you know, all of this communication exposed some concerns, further concerns, misconceptions, potential risks that deserve much closer scrutiny. You know, before taxpayers commit to one of the largest land purchases in Beaufort County's history, $42 million. And let's, I go through my notes here, let's keep in mind, you know, to those folks who say, well, the county isn't really purchasing it, it's and I'll tell you the group, but the county taxpayers are purchasing it because the gentleman, Mr. McShane, who put it out there in front of county council, the head of the green space, he even said, Beaufort County has this money and can get it quicker to them than they could go through state methods. I mean, that's a nice way of saying, let's go to Beaufort County taxpayers and borrow their money rather than through normal means. And I think taxpayers, maybe I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, please go in your chat bar and let us know. I think taxpayers are they're a little over, you know, letting, you know, the county staff and the county administration and county council, for that matter, use our tax money to be the bank for everybody else. Remember the Chelsea tract and some other pieces, things like that. That's in Jasper County. Well, you and I paid for it. Well, they're going to pay us back. Well, what if they don't? All right. Anyway, the first misconception, let's do it this way. The first misconception is that this transaction is fully funded and financially secure. It's not. Let me repeat that. There is nothing financially secure nor fully funded about this transaction. If you hear otherwise, that is false. The public has been told that the Forestry Commission intends to reimburse Beaufort County taxpayers, not the county, the taxpayers. Let's make sure we understand whose money this is. $20 million after the acquisition. However, the same explanation acknowledges that this funding is not guaranteed and depends on future legislative appropriation. Well, what if, woulda, shoulda, coulda kind of thing. In other words, taxpayers are being asked to assume a $42 million obligation today based upon the expectation that the state legislators will fund this and the funding will arrive sometime later. That's the expectation. This creates a significant, and I don't care, you put mustard and mayonnaise and ketchup, it's still a sandwich. This creates a significant financial risk. If the state funding does not materialize, Beaufort County taxpayers could be left carrying the entire burden. Yes, that is true. Yet there's been very little public discussion about what contingency plans exist if that reimbursement never comes. And I'm not surprised, because that would be admitting there's a risk. They don't want to do that. I don't know this to be true, but maybe that is why the gentleman who was in front of county council last week got his balls all up in a wad when they started to question him. A second misconception concerns permanent protection. Supporters of the acquisition have emphasized that property will be preserved forever through a restrictive covenant. However, the details of those protections have not been clearly presented to the public. There is meaningful difference between a conservation easement and other forms of restriction, and there are multiple forms of restriction. Without knowing exactly what legal protections will be recorded before the closing, taxpayers are being asked, just trust me. Trust the process. Trust that future governments will maintain the same commitment to preservation. In other words, entrust future delegations, entrust future general assemblies, even though we don't know who that may be. When public funds are being used to purchase land for conservation, permanent protections should not be assumed. There should be no assumptions. They should be clearly documented and legally enforceable before the transaction is completed. A third concern here, well, it involves the valuation itself, and we talked about this at great length. The public has been repeatedly told that the purchase price is below appraised value. Mr. McShane was very forthcoming in saying that the property appraises for north of $45 million. They're going to sell it for $42 million. So the owners are graciously giving $3 million in unseen revenues. Interesting play on words with that salad. On the surface, this sounds reassuring. I'm getting a good deal, $3 million break. But only one appraisal has been released. Only one. Multiple times, people have made the statement that, well, there are multiple appraisals, but only one's been released. And the one that's been released, well, let me rephrase that. The appraisals that have been done were by the county, were by the seller, And the third one was by, and it all of a sudden my brain just went dead. But only one's been shown. Only one appraisal's been shown. Transparency, again, transparency matters. If several appraisals were completed and they all support the proposed value, then releasing them only makes sense and should strengthen public confidence. It makes absolutely, it makes no sense not to release them if they are all in your favor. It would keep public confidence at a high, and I'd have to be talking about something else. Instead, taxpayers are being asked to rely on conclusions without seeing all of the supportive evidence. I want to hear what you have to say about this. Let us know in your chat bar. The valuation also appears to rely heavily on comparisons, as we stated before, to transactions such as the Chelsea Plantation and Gregory Neck, both of those in Jasper County. Yet those properties reportedly involve the elimination of substantial development rights and approved residential units, or RDUs, residential dwelling units. That conversation, that conservation value was tangible and measurable. We don't see that. The question that remains unanswered is what comparable development rights are actually being extinguished in this transaction. If the development potential being removed is significantly different, then the comparison itself may be misleading. Hey, to eliminate or stymie or keep growth squashed, I understand. I'm in for protecting and saving land and conserving, our pristine bodies of water and waterfront property, et cetera. I'm in favor of that. I'm not in favor of wasteful spending, fraud, et cetera. And I'm not saying this is fraud, but it all goes together. Okay. The most troubling issue possibly revealed by a recent email concerns the property's upland acreage. Last week or week before, whenever it was, when I spoke to several county council members, I had mentioned to them, hey, the majority of this is wetlands. They got the point. They took that point to the gentleman who spoke before them. And when he became completely apoplectic about them asking, other people stood up and said, oh, no, that's false. And you have to go by the median line or the high water line or something of that nature. As they were speaking, I was looking this up, and that was a complete planning department gibberish word salad to make it sound like there was more upland than there were wetlands. The valuation assumes, it makes you wonder, do they think we are actually this stupid? The valuation assumes that roughly 2/3 of the property, that's 66.7%, consists of uplands. Yet independent analyses suggest that approximately 74% of the tract may actually be wetlands. That's the difference in looking at the the tract as a whole and the tract from the whatever they call that, the high line or the critical line, rather. That's what it is. The critical line north. Yes, almost all of that is uplands. We're talking about the entire piece of the pie, all pieces, not just two, but all the pie. Independent analyses suggest that approximately 74% of the entire tract may be wetlands, leaving far less genuinely developable land than was represented to county council. County council, several of them said, hey, David Bartholomew, for an example, and I believe Tom Reitz did it as well, and Paula Brown may have, hey, we don't have any documentation. And the people from the green space, oh, well, we thought you had all that. we've been doing this long enough. There's a process. I call foul on that. And I think David was kind of going down that road. He handled it much more diplomatically and said, well, I can't make a decision based on not having maps. Convenient they didn't give those maps that would have shown the entire pie versus only the top pieces of the pie. This has become a truth or dare type of skirting the actual reality. It's objective acreage versus subjective acreage. That's really what it boils down to. The truth or the objective acreage is about 74% wetlands. The subjective, or in your mind, made up truth of acreage is far, far less. Well, isn't wetlands valuable? Well, wetlands are valuable as a wetland. Yes. Uplands are valuable as developable units. You can build on uplands. You can't build on wetlands. The entire thing is valuable, and this is where they confuse you with their semantics, their word salad. The wetlands are valuable. Well, of course they're valuable. They're valuable as a wetland. In dollars, they're not very valuable at all because you can't do anything with it. To an investor, someone who makes a living at buying and selling, reaping the return on investment, a wetland is not a wise choice financially. An upland, dry land is. That can be turned into, depending upon zoning, that can be turned into buildable dwelling units. This is not a minor discrepancy, not at all. The amount of upland acreage directly affects development potential, market value. And I know there's a lot of county council folks watching and some town council. Think about that for a second. The amount of upland acreage, that's the critical line north, so to speak. That upland acreage directly affects development potential. Turn that land into a house, however many it is, whatever. Market value, and ultimately whether taxpayers are paying a fair price. If those figures are inaccurate, then the foundation of the valuation itself may be flawed. That's the entire point. So before committing $42 million, the county should independently verify those numbers and publicly explain the methodology used. The maps are out there. Hey, Palmetto Bluff, in case you didn't know this, anyone can get into Palmetto Bluff. It's got a gate, that's true, but it is a publicly accessible development. Absolutely. Go out there and walk the property yourself if you so desire, I guess. Watch out for the rattlesnakes and the ticks and all the other things, because alligators and more alligators and leeches and whatever else is in a swamp, because that's mainly what it is. This is a generational transaction with financial and conservation implications that, quite frankly, not could, but would last for decades. But the vote is occurring as several council members who support the acquisition are preparing to leave office. The Howards, the McKellans, the Passaments. Whether intentional or not, the timing of that creates the appearance that those making the decision may not be accountable for its long-term consequences. This right here, I didn't think about when we first talked about this in reading an email from someone in Palmetto Bluff to the senator. They made that point that, 3 of the people voting for this are about to leave. They won't be able to be held accountable. Major public investments should inspire confidence. Think about that. If public tax money is being used, it should inspire confidence, not raise questions about the process and the timing. Yet here again, once again, the process is being questioned and asked about, the timing and how this all occurred. Ultimately, the danger here is not conservation at all. Most people support preserving valuable land and preventing inappropriate development. I get it. Absolutely. If the development is inappropriate, I'm against it. I want to support saving the trees, saving some place where these animals are being driven out of. Absolutely. But not at an expense that is wasteful, that is inappropriate, that is a bad return on investment, and possibly damning for county taxpayers for decades to come. Taxpayers should not be asked to choose between conservation and accountability. They deserve both. It's not an either nor. Conservation over here, or we're going to be accountable over there. Which one do you want? You should have both. The 442 million. Matter of fact, that's a question. That's a question right there that those of you who either are represented by the Passaments or the Howards or the McKellans, or reach out and ask them, or if you're just a county citizen, ask them at your convenience before it's too late. Ask them, why do we have to choose between accountability and conservation? Why can't we have both? What is it that you want or desire that won't allow us for the ability to have conservation with accountability? So the public deserves clear answers. Before any $42 million is expended, we need to have clear answers about the true value of the property, the accuracy of the average calculation or the acreage calculations, the security of the state funding. That's a huge, we don't know. The permanence of the protections being offered and the safeguards that exist if any of those assumptions behind this deal prove incorrect. We deserve that as taxpayers. To those state legislators that may be listening, I think it's time that you chimed in on that. You know, we heard that with the bridge on Hilton Head. For the years that went on, Senator Davis was put on the dais or behind the podium and to say, hey, is that money, the state infrastructure bank, is that guaranteed? You know, what if you're not here? And that answer got less and less and less and less exciting as time went on. How about with this? How guarantee is that guarantee? I've been told that there is no guarantee. It cannot be guaranteed. Because once the money, this is the end of it all, once the money is spent, those questions become much harder, and much more expensive to have answered.
Turn up the radio.
Bringing you the best selection of hits for your listening pleasure.
Yeah, so let's get into it.
BigPatriotRadio.com.
All right, it is 7:30, bottom half of the hour. I want to hear from you, your thoughts on that. Just get into your chat bar and let us know. Don't forget, right up here, over there, boom, is our buymeacoffee.com QR code. Go into that QR code. Here comes the finger. There we go. And let us know that you support the show and buy me a coffee. Love to hear from you. Cliff, hey, Mike, Coastal Conservative Alliance is hosting Pam event on Saturday at Palmetto Inn, 12 Park Lane on Hilton Head at 4 p.m. for a meet and greet. Get out there, folks. If you all at the CCA will send me, I'm sure you have a flyer, just send that to me. I'll post that on all of my social media pages. But for you folks all over the area, if you want to go see Pam Yvette as we get into the runoff, she's going to be at the Palmetto Inn at 12 Park Lane on Hilton Head this Saturday at 4 o'clock. So be sure to get out there and do that. All right. Speaking of elections, the primaries are over. The runoffs are coming up. Locally, runoffs are going to be, and I hope I didn't forget anybody. For governor, on the GOP side, Alan Wilson and Pamela Yvette. They are going in the runoff for the GOP nod for governor. The Democrat side, they don't have a runoff. Dr. Jermaine Johnson, thank you so much, guys and gals over there at CCA. Dr. Jermaine Johnson picked up the Democrat side, so he'll be running for governor against either Alan Wilson or Pamela Yvette. So in Congress, in the first congressional district race, the GOP, Mark Smith out of Berkeley County and Jenny Costa Honeycutt out of Charleston County are in a runoff. I'm still surprised at the amount of votes that Honeycutt picked up. I'm surprised that Mark Smith did not get more than he did, even though he finished in second. I figured that this was his to lose. Anyway, that is they're in the runoff. For Attorney General, David Stumbo and Stephen Goldfinch are in the runoff for the GOP nomination for Attorney General. Let's see, County Council District 5 in a runoff, Joshua Hauer and Mary Jean's Otto. That is, again, County Council District 5. Let's take a look at the primary itself. The biggest surprise of the night, and this is all in my opinion, the biggest surprise of the night was Tom Reitz allegedly losing. I still don't, quite honestly, don't believe it. But so I'm going to say allegedly losing to Libby Galloway, whatever her name is, Galloway, by 350 votes ish, somewhere in there. Surprise, because I'm still having trouble finding people who admit, maybe they did vote for, they just don't want to admit it. In speaking with some folks on Hilton Head, and then collaborating with others, still not finding hardly anybody that voted for Galloway. I don't know. Again, if maybe people are afraid to admit they voted for, I don't know. I wouldn't think so. Not for county council. And why am I surprised? Well, she never once spoke in public. Now, remember, she was propped up by the county party, which is an injustice to Tom Reitz. The same thing happened in District 8 with Paula Brown. Terrible. Anyway, she was propped up, Galloway, propped up by the county party, the leadership of the county party, if you will. She never once spoke in public. Now, they will say, oh, yes, she did. She's spoken many times. No, she has not. She has spoken in private homes. She went to a public event at the BC GOP headquarters, but left before taking the opportunity to speak. Next, she has never publicly defended her platform. Never once. Now, the platform is, as is with most platforms, very generic. Talks about healthcare, better healthcare services for the island, better environmental care for the island. And I had made a couple of points over this primary that, wait a minute. If you're going to run against an incumbent, you at least should have the balls to say, this is what you've done wrong, and I feel I can do it better. That's a completely legitimate statement. So let's take those two things. Healthcare. Well, first of all, county council doesn't do a whole lot with healthcare because it's not in their purview. What they do, and Tom Reitz, since we're talking about his district, was a part of and supported, was an expansion of Beaufort Memorial Hospital, Hilton Head Island Hospital, with new campuses on the island, one in the south end and one on the north end. What is the exponential impact of both of those? I don't know. I don't know if they're an emergency center, a standalone. I don't know, but it's an increase in healthcare services. Okay, she made the point. Well, Tom just volleyed it back. He already done that. Environmental concerns. I mean, no one, and I'm speaking of Stu Rodman, no one has given two damns about the stormwater or water in general on drainage on Hilton Head Islands for decades, 2 to 3 decades. Tom Reitz came in there, and in his first 4 years, the South End, Bay Pines, and that area has a stormwater fix. It's been fixed. I remember the conversation about a dashboard for stormwater. People didn't know where to go. It was too cumbersome. Well, that's been released under Tom Reitz. It got done. So, I mean, if he's so bad and he didn't, you want to fix, he already did what you said, and nobody's said they're going to vote for you. How did you win? I mean, I know she was propped up by the lady who's the executive committee woman of the county party, whose husband happens to be the chairman of the election commission. I'm just saying. I mean, on the periphery, or the surface rather, she appears, and this is strictly a 30,000-foot view. She appears to be a shill for the GOP leadership. Look who she hangs around, especially the executive committee woman, Xiaodan Li. Got a couple of comments here. Nancy Pardo, York 6903. Our government is selected for us. Sadly, that's true. She used her patient list to vote for. And, I had made it. That could be, and I'm sure she could clean teeth like the best of them. But that doesn't mean she knows anything about public service. But she can clean teeth. The Venezuelan cheat is 100% in our face. I agree 100% with that comment, my friend. I do. All right, next. I find it interesting that the county's reporting of votes to be substandard, quite frankly, and a continuance or a furtherance of possible acceptance of impropriety. Looking at results, Michael Anderson won District 4 County Council. Craig Gordon beat incumbent Paula Brown by a mere 370 votes, is somewhere in there. Another win by leadership of GOP support against an incumbent, something that is not supposed to happen. Having been in this circus, that was one of the things. You do not run against an incumbent because we support our incumbents. This is out of the mouths of the little fat guy who handles the microphone down to the executive committee woman. That's their comment. You don't run against an incumbent because we support our incumbents in this party. Apparently not. Anyway, back to what I was saying about, I find it interesting, and I may talk about that a little bit later. For years, Beaufort County has been the dead last in the state to report election night numbers. This year, looked like we were headed that way too. I started firing off emails and text messages and phone calls to Bill Herb Kurzman, Weston Newton, Jeff Bradley, anybody in the state house that I could find, that this is unacceptable. Well, Beaufort County as a whole did a little bit better than the rest of the state. Or no, I take that back. Did a little bit better than some in the state, but they're still substandard for such a growing and prosperous county. Obviously prosperous because everybody wants us to buy, pay their way, be their bank. So we must be doing pretty damn good. Tom Reitz's results got from 0% after hours to 18%. And then several hours, we got to the 11 o'clock hour. Everybody, finally, they started rolling in. And then all of a sudden, it was kind of like a vote dump. Poof. 100%. Here comes his votes. Not so much on District 8 and some of the others, but I noticed it for a fact, and it was foul on District 11. I smell something bad there. Let's see what's going on here. Beth, another great candidate. She did a fantastic job. Beth Gillespie. Tom is an amazing councilman. Yes, he is. And you did a fantastic job. Paula Brown, Councilwoman Paula Brown, 64 votes. That must be corrected. I have not seen that. That's very interesting. 64 votes she lost by. Helga, BCRP's parliamentary, Mr. Casey is on the ballot in November. That's right. He is running for the District 10, which is Larry McKellen's seat. Now, John Casey, the curmudgeon, as I call him, older guy, like 90s or something. This is the guy who followed me around at Reorg to make sure that I behaved. Until I sat down at the table and he sat down there beside me and I just stared at him and he looked away. And I said, you know what, sir? You don't have to be my babysitter. I think I'll behave. He turned red like the Texaco sign back there, got up and left. That's John Casey. Who else we got on here? Let's see. Beth, Tom, and Paula both are amazing. Done so much for the county. You're absolutely right. Nancy, the memory of 2020 election dump in the middle of the night. Absolutely. It was deja vu. Deja vu. All right, let's see. So Michael Anderson won District 4. Got something interesting about that I want to tell you a little bit later. You're going to want to hear this. You won't believe it. Craig Gordon supposedly beat Paula Brown by 64 votes, we see. Let's see. Mark Lawson, Beth Gillespie is tuning in. Mark Lawson is not. He won over Beth Gillespie in District 9. Sheriff Tanner's self-picked replacement, Doug Seifert, won the sheriff Republican nomination. Over JoJo Woodward for the sheriff's race. In State House 121, which is part of northern Beaufort County and southern Colleton County, Shannon DeLoach beat the incumbent Democrat Michael Rivers in the Democrat primary. Now, he will take on Republican Shelley Gay Yohas, who is another leadership person. I can't imagine she assimilates herself with the likes of the Henleys, the Cannons, and the Lees of the world. Anyway, that will happen. Passament, McKellen, Rodman, and Lee all endorsed. Absolutely right. That is now the first time up until this election season, everyone that Jodan Lee endorsed usually bombed, just dropped horribly. You know, if you want to lose, get endorsed by her. Every one of her and the McKellens and the Passaments and the Rodmans and the Henleys, all of their picks, interestingly enough, won. Interestingly enough, all of those picks were all of the ones that were suspect. Again, you know, it's just something, whether, let's just say it was the Democrat Party. If the Democrat Executive County Committee woman was married to the county election chair, we as Republicans would be pissed and we would be raising holy hell. Well, I can't believe they don't know this, because I would think they would be raising holy hell. And it smells bad. It smells bad. There was a problem years ago when Sheriff Tanner's wife was running for, I think she was running for solicitor, matter of fact. And the thing that came up was, wait a minute, you know, pillow talk, which is a legal thing, pillow talk between a solicitor and a sheriff could be damning, detrimental, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, the same thing applies here. How does pillow talk not be brought into the conversation? How does it not be brought into the conversation? Paulo, the 5940 or the 4951 algorithm that's used around the nation. Yeah, I've done some reading on that. I agree. Zoom meetings have to stop. Galloway needs to drive to council meetings. How much you want to bet that she'll do them all by Zoom? I believe so. Over in Jasper County, Treasurer Mike Skinner, the incumbent, He won the GOP primary seat. And I'm not sure if there is a Democrat opponent for him or not. And in the probate office, the probate judge, Dixie Ford, won the GOP nomination there. So there's that. Anything else? Any other comments? Please let us know. The runoffs are coming up. I believe it's the 23rd. I think early voting started like yesterday or today or something. I'm not real super excited. Someone was asking me on social media today about governor, and I'm not a fan, to be brutally honest. Not that anybody asked. I'm not a fan of either one, quite honestly. I think and I have not made up my mind. I think who screws up the least in the next 7 days or whatever it is, 5 days. Who screws up the least and can make a sale for it? I thought I looked at the debate after it happened the other night, just clips and pieces and parts, and I was rather embarrassed, to be quite honest with you. I'm not a fan of either one. Attorney General, I know Stephen Goldfinch, and there's no way I'd vote for him. Nice guy, great guy, but I would never vote for him, especially for that. I don't think there's anything else other than an ag commissioner, and I'm a Cody Simpson or whatever fan. And then, of course, first congressional district. Again, I did what others didn't do in mass back when I ran. I voted for the local guy. I voted for Logan Cunningham. I had a feeling going into this that Mark Smith would more than likely, with his connection, with his ability to fundraise what's necessary, and I spoke to many candidates, and I said, if you don't raise XYZ amount of money, you are really wasting your time. And that proved to be told. Out of nowhere came Jenny Costa Honeycutt, in my opinion. Dr. Sam McCown, I don't know anything about him other than his TV ads that flooded. He did it the right way. He got a huge amount of money at the very end, and he buried it in TV ads, and it shows how he rose in the polls. I mean, it was classic. Whoever did his work for him on the campaign, they knew what they were doing, because it worked. Just didn't work enough. Nancy talking about Allen would never release CVRs, so elections. Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the problems. I mean, I got problems with both. Allen is a lack of trust. The not releasing the CVRs, that's a huge one. His lack of support for getting rid of the machines, another huge one. The spending of the questionable spending of taxpayer money, that's a problem. I don't know. I just got a lot of problems. Pamela Yvette, same thing. I've got I've just got some problems that I don't want to see the same old thing from Henry McMaster 2.0. Janet, good to hear from you. Pamela Yvette has turned to dirty attacks against Alan Wilson. Those could be her true color. Just don't like anything. Yeah, I know her as well. I've had conversations with her. Super nice, very business oriented. Not a lot of humor, in my opinion. I just don't know that there's a change in the governor's mansion that's got her picture on it. I just don't know yet. But hey, we'll see what shakes out of here. I do think it is probably anyone's race, and who's going to stay away from the bottom of the tank. We'll see. You know what I mean? All right. Debbie, about Alan Wilson not caring about security of elections. That's right. I don't want to, let me put that up here. I don't want to say that, I don't want to accuse him of not caring about the security, but if the shoe fits, wear it kind of thing there, Alan. Many people, Debbie and the Lauras and the Laurens and Nancy, thousands of people across the state have asked for things to secure our elections, and one of those is to get rid of these machines that we have all found. We've talked about it till we're sick in the blue in the face, that they're manipulatable. We know they're manipulatable. Some of us have seen that manipulation happen. Alan Wilson has been not in favor of that. I have a huge problem with that. I really do. All right. In journalism, there is one of the cardinal rules is not to report just on rumor or innuendo. Now, professional journalism has a strict ethical obligation to avoid acting as a stenographer for unverified rumors or amplifying deliberate misinformation. When responsible reporters do cover rumors, and that's okay, conspiracy theories or even false claims, they do so in order to contextualize the narrative, investigate the source, or debunk falsehoods with verifiable facts. Now, there's a reason I'm telling you all this, so just bear with me a minute. The industry standard when handling rumors is A, corroboration before publication, B, preventing the oxygen effect, C, framing and context, D, investigate motivations, and E, transparent sourcing. Okay, those are the industry standards in journalism. I say all of that to say this. We have been researching and requesting interviews with several people concerning some, you call it some 411 we were given, the drop of a dime we were given, in reference to former mayor of Port Royal, Joe DeVito, who is allegedly being asked to run for county council district seat 4. That's the seat Michael Anderson just won in the GOP primary, as a write-in candidate. We have been forwarded information that this effort is being led by a sitting county council member and a sitting state house representative. Now, just today, we heard back from Mr. DeVito about this allegation. I went right to the horse's mouth, and I heard back from him today, and he has agreed to talk with me tomorrow. I started asking him about this last Monday. He agreed to talk to me tomorrow about this. I'm not going to name the county council person or the state house rep until that is confirmed, if it ever is. This would be huge news. The GOP nomination for District 4 was won during the primary by Michael Anderson over Thomas Gragowski. Interestingly, Anderson's biggest point made during his campaign, in my opinion, was on this show, by the way, was about a property tax loophole that he discovered that big apartment complexes were not having to pay property taxes at all. That's huge. That is enormously huge. If allegations are found to be true, I immediately call for that question to be raised to any write-in candidate. Do they support the existing to continue, or do you support Councilman-elect Anderson's discovery that this concern must get State General Assembly involvement to investigate, to debate, to study, and possibly to correct? Hopefully. Whatever the outcome of my investigation or the look-see or conversations, we're going to report on it here. Absolutely. We'll keep you abreast. The other side of this coin if this is true, Mr. DeVito, who is as I have read, is a Republican, by the county Republican Party's own rules, he would be eliminated from running on a county party ticket ever. He would be giving that up. Also, supporting him, a sitting county council member, would also be given the boot from the county party. Not that I think they would give a shit, to be quite honest with you. Now, the State House representative, that's name has come up across multiple channels with this. Again, if the county GOP enforces the rules that they enforce everywhere else, that person would not be able to run as a Republican for supporting a write-in candidate. The question there would be, will the county, would the county party, the county GOP party, would they hold everyone accountable to the rules? I don't know. That's a damn good question. And we're going to find out. We're going to find out real fast.
Let's go!
The station that keeps it rocking 24/7.
Ladies and gentlemen,
BigPatriotRadio.com.
All right, let's check the chat box here. Chat, what are you all saying? All right. Alice, I didn't say that. Lee, hey, how are you? Debbie Barton, does Alan care about the security of anything except his own? Yeah, good point. Good point. All right. It is coming up almost straight up 8 o'clock. We're about out of here on turn 4. In City of Beaufort news, for those of you over there north of the Broad, the City Council has approved their $70 million budget recently. In a recent article in the Island News by our friend Delana Gerald, it was explained how multiple positions were left unfilled to be able to close funding gaps. The report states that the millage rate for city taxpayers is not going up. And while that is good on its surface, the city did not do, and the city council did not insist upon cutting any taxes or expenses or cutting spending in their plan either. That's the first level of disingenuousness to taxpayers for tonight. And while that is sold as normalism, it is not a step in the conservative direction. Just to say, well, we're not raising the millage rate, so your taxes aren't being raised. That's not true. In comparison, the town of Hilton Head Island approved its new budget of a whopping, get this, a whopping $233 million. To compare, the city of Beaufort has 16,000 residents, approximately. 38,000, approximately, for Hilton Head. Double the residents, double in a smidgen, but more than 3 times plus the budget. And that's without Hilton Head even having a city police department, which is typically, that's a big money suck right there, which the city of Beaufort has. Town manager of Hilton Head, Mark Orlando, said during the budget announcement that, quote, the island's economy is normalizing, close quote. Well, I would say that's the truest thing I have heard in a while. The mayor of Hilton Head Island, Alan Perry, said that the millage rate is not increasing, a statement that many politicians hang their hats on as being a conservative statement, but it's really not. And this is shown in the Hilton Head budget, where taxpayers may actually, listen up if you're on Hilton Head, taxpayers may actually end up paying more taxes after all, but your millage rate didn't go up. So in their view, your taxes didn't go up. But the amount I'm paying, well, that's your tax rate didn't go up. In the spending extravaganza, Hilton Head Island has allotted over $55 million in new capital improvements. That's almost the entire total budget of the city of Beaufort. Interestingly, Councilwoman Tamara Becker called out for more public safety issues, stating, quote, "We're all increasingly becoming more aware that we have to address public safety issues on the island," close quote. Now, while public safety is an absolute must, in an article from the Island Packet, it's what came next that strikes us as odd. From the IP, quote, "A previous safety assessment looked at creating better security camera systems in the Coligny Beach area, and money has just been put aside for an additional safety assessment," end quote. This is one area right here. This is one area. Cameras that that subject has to be thoroughly vetted. I don't know anyone in my circles or with their right mind who's wants to become a surveillance state. It's one thing to have security, absolutely. It's a completely different thing if it's being used to surveil the citizens and taxpayers. In final comparison, the town of Bluffton, with approximately 39,000 people, about the same as Hilton Head, approved its $114 million budget recently. Bluffton, with generally the same population, but 50% of the Hilton Head budget, even with a police department in Bluffton. As with others, town of Bluffton reports no millage increase, even though its budget increased 4.4% over last year. The mayor and town council continue to claim that taxes aren't going up. But in reality, taxes are in fact going up. Expenses are going up. Revenues are going up. I didn't see a one cost-saving measure whatsoever in the Bluffton budget. Just more spending. It's wrong to say your taxes aren't going up. We kept the millage rate the same when the tax rate went up. We're going to continue to file and report on this as the story goes. Last thing for tonight, just to follow up on a county council matter concerning the upcoming 2026 sales tax referendum question. And you got to pay attention to this. This sales tax referendum question for transportation is going to be going to third and final reading in front of county council next week. Assuming that this passes, and there's no reason now to think that it won't, they're going to confirm this with a county council member tonight. They're going to be putting the entire $780 million enchilada request onto the November ballot. $780 million. Now, there are still projects from the 2018 transportation sales tax still not completed. That's issue number one, and we'll just put that over here. But don't forget about that. But $780 million? Now, look, I'm a realist. I will admit there are some things, many things on this list that need to be done as growth is happening in such large fashion. But $780 million? It's absurd. It's absurd. They could have cut programs and waste and fraud at the county budget level, but the one that they just passed. But no. We're not cutting anything. Now they'll tell you that it's budget neutral with no millage increase. But that's not entire truth. Taxes are still going to go up for all of us. There's just more of us now. That's why the screen, that's the screen that they don't tell you about. The shades they don't tell you. Just like we talked about a minute ago, I've said it many times. Why not take the time and talk about and possibly implement a time imperative moratorium? Those are time ending. You can't have it in perpetuity. There has to be a start and a stop and a moratorium according to South Carolina law. So why don't we do that? While we're doing that, whether it's 6 months, a year, or whatever, bringing infrastructure up to pace, at least better than it is now. Why not do this rather in, let's call it $250 million increments every 3 years for the next 9 years? It's gonna parlay it. It's gonna be, 100 million now. It's gonna be 200 million then. Look, we can all come up with excuses all night long. This $780 million wish list, this Christmas card list, this Montgomery Ward catalog list, it's going to take 20 years to get it done anyway, if not more. There's not enough people to do all this work. You can only make so much asphalt. Why not spread this out? Do it in small, measurable, incremental adjustment. $250 million for 3 years, over 9. All at once is what they're talking about. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. That is not going to work. And I doubt, you quote me if you want, I doubt very, very seriously that it passes at all. If it were $250 million, I think there is a possibility with some education, as they call it, they could get that passed. There are things that have to be done. But $780 million with still having 2018 items not done, still having a more of a mess down in Alljoy now than before because they didn't fix the drainage problem before putting in or attempting to put in sidewalks. What a fustercluck. I doubt it very, very seriously that this passes at all. County Council could do the right thing by cutting this down by a third. Easy. 2/3 with some work. Sell that to the constituents. I know and you all should know this, County Council can't vouch for or against. And you're going to see tricks come up from the Passaments and the McKellans so we can educate the community. You're going to see that. Watch. It's happened before. It'll happen again. But if they push the whole Monty, the full $780 million, I would almost bet in Vegas that it won't pass. It's that out of touch with reality. All right. Well, let's take one last look at our comments here. No way, Jose. That's what I think the majority of county residents are going to say, Nancy. No way, Jose. That's just my opinion. And we'll see what happens, right? All right. That's going to do it for this week. We're going to be back next Thursday. Oh, we got somebody else. Transparency, responsible spending before I'll trust them with any more money. Absolutely. Amen. Beth, they're spending our taxpayers' money on advertising this mess. Oh, wait till you find out how much they're spending. Wait till we tell you that, what the expense is going to be for educating the community. All right, we're going to be back next week on Facebook, YouTube, and BigPatriotRadio.com. Please don't forget to like and share this stream. Also, click on that QR code to help support the show by buying me a coffee. It's buymeacoffee.com/Big Patriot Radio. We appreciate it. We appreciate everybody that helps us, supports the show each and every week. Those of you that have joined the Buy Me a Coffee Club, it's great. We'll be shooting you a new email here next week. So stay tuned for that. And we'll see you next week right here. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, good night, everybody, and watch your six.
just satisfaction. Push me, and then just high satisfaction. Push me, and then all I can get high satisfaction.
Voices in my head go. I know I should sleep, but the voices in my head go. I know I should sleep, but the voices in my head go. I know I should sleep, but the voices in my head go. Voices in my head go.